Hello everyone and welcome to the WWE 2011 Draft event. You've seen the two sets of draft matches from both Raw and SmackDown, in which Raw gained Shawn Michaels and R-Truth from SmackDown, and you've seen SmackDown gain CM Punk and Sheamus from Raw. But now it is time for the official 2011 draft to commence, in which we see several randomized picks take place across the three brands. So starting things off, we're going to start with the women's division, as it is once again being divided. We have been told that one division will feature 5 women, the other 6, and to the advantage goes the one that hosted the women's division for the longest. Raw will be gaining 6 women, SmackDown 5. Every woman is going to be drafted. So starting things off, staying on Raw is going to be Trish Stratus. Now, I don't need to actually make any modifications for those that are staying on Raw, as barring Beth Phoenix and Karma, they are all already on Monday Night Raw. So we'll just be immediately moving to the next draft, in which someone will be headed to SmackDown, and I can confirm that she didn't just represent them in the draft. Karma is now officially a part of SmackDown. Wow, the women's draft is going by very quick. So next up, another one that's just staying on Raw. I don't think I need to change anything, unless of course Beth Phoenix is who it luckily lands on. All these ads just slowing it down. God, you gotta love ads. So next up, staying on Raw, an unfortunate heartbreak for Justin Gabriel, unless he gets drafted to Raw, because Brie Bella remains on Raw. In our next draft pick, that is an Amazon store page. I did not click an ad. Please refrain from forcing me to open up ads I did not click on. And Brie Bella's still on the wheel. God, oh yeah, just keep popping them up right in between everything I'm trying to press. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's great. You go to press something and then they're like, hey, there's an ad here now. Oh, it's beautiful. I installed an ad blocker and it did nothing. I love it. Oh, absolutely love it. Look at that wheel chug. Beautiful. Alright, now going to SmackDown. Obviously, you can't see the wheel for those that are curious. I'm doing it off my phone. Heading to SmackDown in the first official actual draft move, Alicia Fox finds her way over to Friday Night SmackDown, which is currently home of the Divas Championship and Beth Phoenix. We'll see if that continues to be the case. Both Natalya and Phoenix have not been drafted yet. But next up, staying on Raw, who is it gonna be? Oh, there's your confirmation. Natalya stays on Raw. I mean, admittedly, Beth Phoenix could still be drafted to Raw, and then we'll kind of have to decide what happens with the championships from there. Maybe we'll have some cross-brand matches heading into Extreme Rules, in which we'll just have to hope that one champion heads to SmackDown. Heading to SmackDown next, the Bella Twins have been separated. Nikki Bella finds herself a part of Friday Night SmackDown. Maybe she'll finally come out of the shadows and do something. I mean, I'll tell you what, right now, Alicia Fox and Nikki Bella, thing is, they're going to thrive from this separated division. I know it's only 5 and 6 on each brand, but think about the fact that this now means there is more of a spotlight for these guys to try and stand out in, as I'm waiting and just waiting to find out who is going to remain on Raw, and it is Kelly, still going to be a part of Monday Night Raw. Who's going to be next headed to SmackDown? There are just 4 names on the board now. Who is it going to be? Is Beth Phoenix going to take the Divas title with her to SmackDown? Is that confirmed now? As a matter of fact, it is. Beth Phoenix headed exactly where she already is, Friday Night SmackDown. So we've got just 2 more picks left. 2 women will be remaining on Raw, 1 will be heading to SmackDown, and one of those 2 that will be remaining on Raw is Layla. Layla going to be continuing to be on Raw, and that leaves just Eve and Tiny Shiny. So the next pick will be headed to Friday Night SmackDown, whilst the other remains here on Raw. I feel like if you're trying to become a champion, you'll want to go to SmackDown, where there's only going to be 5 women, as opposed to the 6 on Raw. And the last one headed to SmackDown is Eve, being returned to the SmackDown brand. So, to confirm the divisions, that is now officially on Monday Night Raw. You can see Brie Bella. You can see I don't have this written down. Kelly, Layla, Natalia, and Tiny Shiny, when she loads in, and Trish Stratus. That is the Raw Women's Division. Whereas over on SmackDown, you will see Beth Phoenix, Karma, when she loads in, and Edge. No, that's not right. Eve, Edge, Nikki Bella, and Alicia Fox right at the top of the list. Those are the ones that will be headed to Friday Night SmackDown, which I think is going to be a pretty good land of opportunity for them. So, how is the draft going to go, you may be wondering? Well, we're going to be taking from each individual brand one by one, and the first one that's going to be looted is unfortunately the most unfortunate brand in all of this. I'm talking about ECW, currently a brand that hosts only 7 individual superstars, as we'll see right down to Sin Cara. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're not allowed to show any of the names below them. They're forbidden. We're not allowed to show them. We don't have the rights. So Big Show, Cody Rhodes, Goldust, Jack Swagger, Kane, and Sin Cara all eligible. The ECW champion Mick Foley is not allowed to be drafted, as he is the holder of a very brand exclusive championship. So first up, heading to Monday nights from ECW, you can look forward to the Monday Night Raw return of Cody Rhodes, heading back to Monday Night Raw. I gotta say, ECW wasn't really kind to Cody Rhodes, when I'm being completely honest with myself. He didn't exactly get an opportunity to ever really break out on that brand. So I'm looking forward to seeing what exactly it is that Cody Rhodes can do. Next up, heading to Friday Night SmackDown, is a very, very big pick. ECW losing its former champion Jack Swagger. Had a lot of success on Raw, had incredible success on ECW, but now going to be home to Friday Night SmackDown. It should be interesting to see what Jack Swagger can do over there. Not under the control of Mr. McMahon is ECW, or Jack Swagger for that matter, whilst down there. So unfortunately, it's going to be a tough break. Teddy Long don't like to play favorites. Next up, returning to Monday Night Raw, the Big Red Demon himself, Kane, makes his return to the brand that kind of made him. I don't necessarily know of a time where Kane has ever been on SmackDown, so I gotta say, I mean, obviously in real life he was, but in the universe, no. And finally, being looted from the final 3 superstars remaining on ECW, but barring Mick Foley himself, Kane and the man that tried to fix him, Goldust, no longer aligned, as Goldust finds himself home on Friday Night SmackDown. So, as a reminder, that is Cody Rhodes and Kane headed to Monday Night Raw. Goldust and Jack Swagger headed to Friday Night SmackDown. Right now, ECW, I realize you're all thinking the same thing. My god, that poor brand. It is just the Big Show, Mick Foley, and Sin Cara right now. But don't you worry, because there is much more to come from the draft, including ECW gaining 7 superstars. Is it 7? I gotta quickly make sure now. No, 6 superstars from each respective brand. I miscounted on SmackDown. There will actually be sorry, I'm just writing these down so I can put them on the wiki a little easier. There will actually be 15 superstars across each individual brand. It actually breaks on an even number. I was wrong when I said that it was 15, 15, and 14. There's 45 in total. I don't think I counted Ted DiBiase because he's not currently on the wiki where he should be. So, you're wondering what comes next, and I don't blame you. But the answer to that is, I believe we're going to have to loot SmackDown now, as right now I feel like if I take too many people from there, it will tell me I'm not allowed to for Raw. So, Monday Night Raw, as a total trade from SmackDown, will be gaining 7 individual superstars, whilst ECW will be gaining 6. This is all to help balance out the rosters. I did a lot of math to try and make this up. I had a big brain moment. I felt a lot of pain in my skull, but I managed to get there. So now the question becomes, who is headed from Friday Night SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. There are a lot of big names on SmackDown. You're almost always going to be hitting bank and getting someone massive. And that massive pick is actually very underwhelming, folks, because Nemesis is currently separated from Jetstar as he returns to Monday Night Raw. The Disciples of Darkness currently on separate brands. That kind of a bummer. Wasn't really expecting to see it happen, but there it is. Nemesis is no longer a part of the draft wheel. So who is headed to ECW? ECW going to be rubbing their hands together, whoever's in charge of ECW, because they have got so much to gain. 6 superstars from each brand, and a very big acquisition for ECW to kick things off. The Intercontinental Champion John Morrison takes the Intercontinental Championship with him to Tuesday nights. What does that mean in regards to... Oh shit, I just put a 7 after Nemesis' name. No, he's not the new 7. I'm just trying to note these down so I can write like a thing on the wiki for the draft and who went where and yada yada yada. So that is John Morrison heading to ECW. What does that mean for the Intercontinental Championship? What does that mean for John Morrison and his contract negotiations? This kind of messes a lot up for Teddy Long and his hopes to try and get the Intercontinental title off of John Morrison. It now becomes more essential than ever that he tries to do just that. As next up, heading to Monday Night Raw, the core no more. Heath Slater has been separated from Justin Gabriel. Fuck tag team divisions. I hate them. No tag teams allowed. We're separating everybody. We're going to have to make a whole new tag division. Heath Slater joins Nemesis in leaving Friday nights and coming to Monday nights. As we now move towards the 4th draft pick from SmackDown. They are losing a lot of stars in total. 13 people coming from the 21-man roster that is SmackDown. And ECW gaining... Oh, fuck, it froze, sorry. ECW... You can't make this up! Returning to ECW after having just left the $1 million champion, Ted DiBiase finds himself back on Tuesday nights. Now, admittedly, he didn't leave by choice. He was fired from ECW, but what a shocking turn of events. Ted DiBiase headed back to Tuesday nights. I forgot to write that down. So I'm just going to quickly let it decide on the next draft pick. Okay. The next draft pick has been revealed to me, not to you. I'll be telling you in just a moment. I just need to quickly write down Ted DiBiase heading there. And next up, heading to Monday Night Raws. I was saying that tag teams being separated. I must correct myself. The Disciples of Darkness are remaining a tag team. Jetstar, the man of the hour at the moment, really making a name for himself. He heads over to Monday Night Raw. Looks like the Disciples of Darkness are gonna stay together. At least one tag team. Maybe not the most popular tag team, but at least one tag team are gonna be sticking together through it all. So next up, going to ECW, joining Ted DiBiase and the Intercontinental Champion John Morrison. Please stop freezing. Who is going to ECW? We are still waiting. Oh my, that's a very, very big draft pick. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the former WWE champion. You know, I feel he's gonna fit in pretty damn well down in ECW. That's an interesting draft pick, if I do say so myself. What I'm going to do is, before I write down the next one, I'm just going to find out what the next one is, so I can kind of keep bouncing between the two, rather than waiting for the wheel to spin. I'm going to try doing that and see if that works. I mean, at some point I still have to wait for the wheel to spin, so actually that doesn't really help at all. And the 4th pick heading to Monday nights. I will get to in just a second. I just need to add Stone Cold down on the list. So John Morrison, Ted DiBiase, and now Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I can now announce to you a very interesting draft pick. Actually, this one kind of makes a lot of sense if you ask me. Made a big name for himself there last year. Returning to Raw is the currently injured Zack Ryder, a former successful light heavyweight champion. Really made a name for himself. He was the first ever cruiserweight champion during his time on Raw. And I gotta say that... I don't want to open your Amazon link. Sorry. And the very next one headed to ECW. This is, I believe, ECW's 4th pick. Remember, ECW has 6 picks in total. And who's going... Oh my god, it's just freezing up so hard right now. Okay. Going to ECW. Well, there you have it. Further confirmation that the crew have been separated. The leader of the crew, Mark Henry, finds himself on ECW. Again, I gotta say, ECW really getting that buffed up roster coming out of this one. This is definitely going in a very different direction to what I kind of had in mind, what I was expecting to see happen. Now the question is, who is going to Monday Night Raw? I do not want to buy a car. It's going... These ads, man. Going to Monday Night Raw, another team remains together. I said the core no more, but I stand corrected. United with Brie Bella and Heath Slater. Justin Gabriel goes to Raw, but I cannot do it just yet, so give me a moment. I'll have to just write it down on here. It's a good thing I was writing them down. So Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater remaining together, as well as Nemesis and Jetstar. It's a good day for the tag division, as it turns out. I was worried they were all just going to get separated, but it turns out they're not. That's good. Let me just take Justin Gabriel off the wheel and give it another spin. Who's going to be going to ECW? Just recently picked up Mark Henry and Stone Cold, as well as Ted DiBiase and John Morrison. And next up, heading to ECW, is a top contender for many a championship, Kofi Kingston. I keep trying to correct that, and it keeps not letting me. Kofi Kingston finds himself a spot on Tuesday nights. I gotta say, I think that's going to be a good move for Kofi Kingston, if I do in fact say so myself. And guess what, folks? I do say so myself. As the wheel is spinning. Who's going to Monday Night Raw? Going to Monday Night Raw is Booker T. The Crew's R-Truth and Booker T remaining on the same brand as each other. Whether or not those two will decide to team up with one another, I'm not entirely sure. But Booker T finds himself on Monday nights as we now enter the final draft pick slot for ECW. Who is going to be headed to ECW? They've really gained out of this. Ted DiBiase, John Morrison, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mark Henry, Kofi Kingston, and what better way to top things off than with Eddie Guerrero? I keep trying to do that. Eddie Guerrero finds himself a spot, a new home, and that home is Tuesday nights. Eddie Guerrero heading to ECW. I guess his little celebration with Ray was a farewell with him and Ray, as there are just 6 names remaining on SmackDown's board right now. Only one of them can go to Monday Night Raw. Who's it gonna be? And in the final draft pick of the 2011 draft, going to Raw from SmackDown, which completes Raw's draft as a whole, the currently injured former longest reigning WWE champion, The Miz, is headed to Monday nights. What a humongous draft pick that is for Monday nights. Something I feel they absolutely wanted. And I gotta say, they're probably pretty damn glad to have gotten. So, SmackDown has now been scraped clean of a lot of its stars. As that is, as a reminder, heading to ECW from SmackDown, John Morrison, Ted DiBiase, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mark Henry, Kofi Kingston, and Eddie Guerrero. And heading to Monday Night Raw from Friday Night SmackDown, Nemesis, Heath Slater, Jetstar, Zack Ryder, Justin Gabriel, Booker T, and The Miz. That is a majority of the draft already finished. As the draft continues to be underway, we now have 6 picks to go from Raw to ECW and 5 from Raw to SmackDown. SmackDown already had a pretty bloated roster to begin with, so they definitely had a lot more to lose than they did to gain. So, here we go. Going to ECW, first and foremost, one of the 6 picks headed to ECW from Monday Night Raw. That's an interesting outcome. Dolph Ziggler, I'm not even on the Raw roster, I just realized. Dolph Ziggler, now a part of Tuesday Night's Team DZ, at least for the time being, have been separated. That is a tough break, I must say. Let me just write that down and spin the wheel. Okay, and next up, heading to SmackDown from Raw, we've got okay, I like this one a lot. Heading to Friday Night SmackDown from Monday Night Raw, right below Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, the European Champion Wade Barrett, I'm sure breathing a sigh of relief as both Sheamus and Drew McIntyre find themselves away from the European Championship that remained around the waist of Wade Barrett following WrestleMania. Who's going to be next in line to head to Monday Night Raw? To head to Tuesday Night ECW from Monday Night Raw. As the wheel continues to spin. A very big acquisition indeed. ECW, now the home of one half of the former World Tag Team Champions, Road Warrior Animal, just lost the tag team titles at WrestleMania, and as I said, those who are holding the tag team championships cannot be drafted as they are brand specific. So, unfortunately, the Road Warriors have, for the time being, just been separated. I don't know how to feel about that. I couldn't imagine those two working alone. Friday Night SmackDown gains. Holy shit! Friday Night SmackDown is now the home of the World Heavyweight Champion Batista. What? Well, I said there was no draft immunity for any champions other than the tag champions or the ECW champion. But Raw now doesn't have a world title. What happens here? That's probably the biggest pick of the whole draft. Okay, going to ECW next. I don't know how you top Batista. Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. I didn't even rig that. That was like full on how it landed. Right after Animal, Hawk is heading to ECW. That is beautiful. I didn't even, like, genuinely, I know there are still going to be people that probably don't believe me, but I seriously had nothing to do with that. It went Animal and then Hawk to ECW. It was fate. They couldn't be separated. The laws of science insisting. I need to quickly stop the TV from turning itself off. And heading to Friday Night SmackDown from ECW is Yoshitatsu, with the Light Heavyweight Championship being on that brand. I gotta say, this is a very beneficial move for Yoshitatsu. Could he finally be wearing championship gold in the next season? I, for one, absolutely hope so. Wait, I got that wrong, didn't I? No, I did get that right. Oh, sorry, it's because I skipped by Hawk so fast. Okay, so next up, going to ECW. I really thought he was going to ECW for a second there. Who is headed to ECW from Monday Night Raw? Some interesting names on this wheel for sure. And going to ECW is... Did Dolph Ziggler get drafted? He sure did, and his tag team partner Daniel Bryan is coming with him to Tuesday night's ECW. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Man, I can't believe it. SmackDown is without a mid-title. Raw is without a world title. Undertaker can't be drafted. The draft on taking from SmackDown has already ended. That is upsetting in some sense of the word. Who's next headed to SmackDown? They're going to take Wade Barrett too? Heading to Friday Night SmackDown as this wheel just slows down is the Beast himself, the former World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar. So even if those two do have a rematch at Extreme Rules, he ain't bringing the title back to Raw if he wins it back. Wow. SmackDown gains Brock Lesnar, Batista and Brock Lesnar. What a huge acquisition that was for Friday nights. Tuesdays now though, ECW. Who are they gonna get next? Heading to ECW. Please don't get off your seats because David Otunga is going to ECW and I need to real quick adjust some rosters now. They should be full enough that I can correct them a little bit. So, excuse me whilst I just do that for a second. Going to Raw from SmackDown, we did Nemesis, we did Heath Slater, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. We did Jetstar, yeah. Zack Ryder, did I manage to move him? Yeah. Justin Gabriel, no, okay. Yeah, there, I can move him now. And Booker T. Yeah. And The Miz. Okay. And also going from SmackDown was... because ECW's roster could be as tiny as possible, I don't need to correct that one. Going from SmackDown to ECW was John Morrison, already done. Ted DiBiase, already done. Stone Cold, already done. Mark Henry, already done. Kofi Kingston, okay, I hadn't done him yet. And Eddie Guerrero, which I still can't do yet. But that's okay, because as I just said, going from Raw to ECW... no, that doesn't help anything. Going from Raw to ECW is David Otunga, we should now be able to take off of it. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna have to use like a placeholder at some point, aren't I? And the final pick from Raw to SmackDown before the draft almost comes completely to a close. Going from Raw to SmackDown is... oh, thank God, right at the very end, Edge, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, finds his way over from Raw to SmackDown. That is genuinely a relief. For a minute there, I thought the Tag Team Champions were going to be, like, co-branded. Man, SmackDown picked up some big names from Raw. Okay. And, okay, so I should now be able to take Eddie Guerrero off of SmackDown and put him on ECW. And before that was Kofi, which should be done. And the last one from SmackDown to Raw was The Miz, which I remember doing, but I'll just double check. Yeah, okay. So they've all been done. There is just one final pick to close out this draft. And that is to ECW. Who is going to be the icing on the cake, the final choice? Going to ECW. To close out the 2011 draft, Santino Marella. I can't believe this guy topped the draft. That was the final pick. I mean, there was two very big names, and there was Wade Barrett and Randy Orton, and we got Santino Marella. So, now, if I just back out of here real quick for a second, and then pretend you didn't just see what you... no, you didn't see nothing. So, shut up, you didn't see nothing. Let me just quickly write down Santino as the final pick. So, to refresh on those draft picks from Raw to ECW from Raw, Dolph Ziggler, Animal, Hawk, Daniel Bryan, David Otunga, Santino Marella. And from Raw to SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, Batista, Yoshitatsu, Brock Lesnar, and Edge. Well, be sure to leave down below who you feel won the 2011 draft, but here are your new completed rosters. On Raw, we have Booker T, Brie Bella, Cody Rhodes, Heath Slater, Jetstar, Justin Gabriel, Kelly Kelly, Kane, Kevin Nash, Layla, Nemesis, Natalia, R-Truth, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, Tiny Shiny, The Miz, Trish Stratus, Vader, Wade Barrett, and Zack Ryder. I don't really feel like there's a lot of a main event division there anymore, but I guess Raw is going to be established in the next season quite a bit then, isn't it? It's going to be the new proving ground for some new names. So, then on SmackDown, you'll see Alicia Fox, Beth Phoenix, Brock Lesnar, Batista, CM Punk, Christian, Drew McIntyre, Edge, Eve, Goldust, Jack Swagger, John Cena, Karma, Nikki Bella, Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, and Yoshitatsu. That is a very stacked roster. And then on ECW, what's the bottom name on here? I believe it was Ted DiBiase. Okay. So Animal, Big Show, Daniel Bryan, David Otunga, Dolph Ziggler, Eddie Guerrero, Hawk, John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, Mark Henry, Mick Foley, Santino Marella, Sin Cara, Stone Cold, and Ted DiBiase. Those are the completed rosters heading into the 2011 Extreme Rules and heading into Season 3, where there will be many newcomers joining these guys on the rosters. But for now, that is it for the 2011 draft. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all on a very different next week, starting tomorrow night with Monday Night Raw. Bye-bye.